So go ahead and tell me however you want to introduce yourself, like
Okay.
how you want to.
My name is Danny Cruz. I'm from South Texas and I'm a sex worker. A sex worker means different things to different people. The most broad term is somebody who exchanges sex or sexual services for money, but you can also trade those services for other resources. I was working as a nurse in South Texas. I was making $14 an hour and that wasn't paying for all of my adult bills. So I put up an ad and within a few nights I had some extra cash. As a Mexicano, a lot of my older relatives are not as open to sex as the younger generations in my family. So my sisters know and some cousins and stuff like that, but like parents and grandparents definitely not in the loop. I think most of the stigma comes down to just the word sex. When you start talking about sex anything, people get really uncomfortable, they get really upset, and they begin to want to tell you what is wrong with what you're doing. Because so many go into it, because it's quote easy money, there's a lot of people who end up getting either stuck in that trade because of necessity, they get arrested, and so they're more reliant on the sex trade because they can't get hired anywhere else, or they're being forced by somebody else, usually either a pimp or a trafficker, and that's where all the kind of debate gets messy. Being a sex worker by choice, I'm heavily invested in making sure people are protected, people are safe, and that nobody is in the trade unless they want to be. To people on the outside that want to stigmatize the sex trade or call it wrong, I'd say that sex work is just like any other job. You're gonna have good days, you're gonna have bad days, you're gonna have good clients, you're gonna have bad clients. A person who consents to the job and consents to the exchange shouldn't have to be stigmatized or criminalized or told that the labor they perform is any less different. It is imperative that you look for sex workers who are telling their own stories. We hear from the anti-trafficking movement, which is great because like I said, I would like to take people who are being trafficked out of the consensual sex trade. But a lot of times their stories are the only stories that you hear. It erases men in the sex trade, it erases trans people, all kinds of people. Try reading a story about somebody who went into the trade consensually on their own terms, or somebody who really likes their job, somebody who's put themselves through college doing sex work, somebody who has paid student loans through stripping, somebody who feeds their family through webcamming. Try to find other voices and other stories. It shows that the sex trade exists on a spectrum, and those stories are important on both sides.